So if you're in the project management world, you know the PMP is the gold standard, right? Well, get ready, because that standard is getting a major upgrade. Huge changes are coming in 2026, and in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly what you need to know.
All right, let's just jump right into the big news. Yes, you saw that right. A brand new PMP exam is officially on the horizon. The Project Management Institute, or PMI, has set the global launch for July 2026. And believe me, this isn't just a fresh coat of paint. It's a fundamental shift. So let's dive in and unpack what this means for you.
And seriously, we're not talking about a few small tweaks here and there. Nope, PMI is actually calling this a complete reimagining of the exam. The whole idea is to make sure it perfectly mirrors the real-world challenges and demands of project management today, to keep that certification as valuable as ever.
So you might be asking, why the big change right now? Well, it's all about future-proofing. It's about making sure the PMP isn't just keeping up, but is actually leading the pack. The field is moving so fast, and for the PMP to stay the gold standard, it has to evolve right along with it. And hey, don't just take my word for it. PMI has come right out and said it themselves. This update is a direct response to our changing times. They're making sure the exam is all about the skills and the mindset that actually get results on projects today.
So, what does keeping up actually look like? This is where it gets really interesting. We're talking about some seriously modern topics being baked right in. You've got cutting-edge stuff like artificial intelligence and a much-needed focus on sustainability. But it's also about a bigger mental shift. Moving past just checking boxes to delivering real, tangible value, and juggling an even more complex world of stakeholders.
Okay, so let's get down to the nitty-gritty. What is actually different inside this new exam? We're going to look at both what's in it, the content, and how it's put together, the structure.
Now, you're going to want to pay close attention to this next part. This is, without a doubt, the single biggest change we need to talk about. The core domains of the exam are being totally rebalanced, and it tells us a ton about where the profession is headed.
I mean, just look at the story this chart tells. The people and process domains are still the heavy hitters, of course. But look at business environment. It's rocketing up from just 8% of the exam to a whopping 26%. That's not just a little bump, that's a huge leap. PMI is basically shouting from the rooftops that understanding business strategy is no longer a nice-to-have, it's an absolutely core skill.
But the changes don't stop there. The exam's whole vibe is becoming more adaptive, more in tune with how projects actually run. And here's some great news for everyone. The eligibility window is getting extended to 10 years. That gives you so much more breathing room, right? And the exam experience itself is getting a little longer, with 5 more questions, but they're going to be much more interactive and scenario-based, feeling less like a test and more like your actual job.
Okay, with all this going on, you're probably asking, when is this all happening? Timing is everything. So let's get out our calendars, because knowing these key dates is absolutely essential for planning your certification journey.
So here's the official roadmap PMI has laid out for us. Everything kicks off on December 15th, 2025. That's when registration opens for a special pilot exam. That pilot will run for most of January 2026. Then, a huge milestone in April 2026. The official new study materials drop. And finally, the big day. The new exam launches worldwide in July 2026.
Now let's talk about that pilot program for a second, because it's a pretty sweet deal. A limited number of people can take the new exam way early, back in January 2026. You get to provide feedback that actually helps shape the final exam, and they'll give you a 20% rebate just for helping out. And get this is the best part. If for some reason you don't pass the pilot, you get a free retake of the new exam when it launches. I mean, how great is that? It's basically a low-risk, high-reward way to get in on the ground floor.
All right, so we've covered the what, the why, and the when. Now we get to the question that's probably on your mind. What does this all mean for me, for my plan? Let's figure out which version of the exam makes the most sense for you.
And the first thing PMI wants you to know is you've got options. You're not being shoehorned into one path here. You actually get to make a strategic choice based on your own timeline and where you're at in your studies.
It really boils down to 2 main paths, and this lays it out perfectly. So if you're in the studying now camp, you've already got your books, you're deep in the material, the advice is super simple. Keep going. You have all the way until July 2026 to take the current exam.
But if you're in the starting fresh group, maybe just thinking about it now, your best bet is to plan on grabbing those new study materials when they come out in April 2026 and aim for the new exam.
So to make it super simple, here are your next steps. Think of it as a 4-step plan to move forward with confidence. First, take a good look at your own schedule and how ready you feel. Second, make a conscious choice, current exam or new exam. Third, and this is crucial, make sure your study plan and your materials match that choice. And finally, go schedule that exam knowing you've got a solid plan.
So let's wrap this all up. It's really important to remember that the heart of good project management, that's not going anywhere. This isn't about throwing everything out. Think of it more as an evolution. The PMP is simply adapting to reward those forward-thinking skills, like strategic thinking and adaptability, that are now absolutely essential for success.
And that really leaves us with one final big question. The future that this new exam is all about, it isn't some far-off concept. It's happening right now, in the projects we're leading today. The only question left is, are you ready for it?